something I always tell my fans, and I really mean this, and coming from me, I know everyone thinks I'm this like sexually charged, you know, pop music maniac, which I am. I didn't begin to enjoy sex until I was much older. I mean, I think about being in high school and having sex, and you're just sort of like, well,
is this it?
Does this feel good? Is this what it's supposed to be? What's going on down there? How am I supposed to do this? Does it even really feel good? I mean, I don't think it did. I think you just think it's what you're supposed to do, and you're trying to figure out how to be a woman. And I really encourage my fans to wait. You know, wait until you're old enough to really understand what that feels like and what it means.
You know, it's interesting because one of the things that I feel really strongly about is the way that we approach sex ed in this country. I have 2 daughters, and I realize that the only mention of orgasm when there's a discussion about sex is as it pertains to the male and how we can get pregnant.
Right.
There's no mention of a female orgasm. It's just about, look, you can get pregnant from the guy. That's the only time, and I feel like there needs to be a whole dialogue about women and girls knowing their own bodies and experiencing their own bodies.
I think so,
so
but
they can communicate.
Again, I think when you're that young, it's like, you think about how relaxed and how comfortable with a man you have to be to really give yourself. And I just don't know if when you're 17 you really know how to do that. And I think it's important to be aware when you're younger of what you're doing. I think young women like myself, I'm not, you know, analyzing myself at 16 years old when I'm dating a 26-year-old guy. No. You know, you're just sort of having a good time, and you think, oh, the boys down the street are so awful, and this guy's a real man, he's so mature. But let's be honest, even at 26, guys aren't really even real men.
Close, no.
So I think for me, I dated a couple older men. And then as I got older and more mature, my career became more important to me than anything. And anytime anyone got in the way or was destructive or abusive in my life, I just cut them off and focused on my music.
How were you able to do that? Because a lot of people get stuck with the guy as the priority.
Well, my grandmother, who was married to my grandfather for 60 years,
God, amazing.
Amazing. And both, my parents are still together 30 years. So
you know it's possible.
Oh yeah. Well, divorce is like not an option for me. It's like, I'm going to get married and
that's it.
That's it. He's stuck with me. I've seen my mother and father stick it out. And there was a time when I was younger when I really thought they might get divorced. They were fighting all the time, and my mother was a mess, my dad was a mess, but they really stuck it out. And now, all this time later, when I'm with them, my parents are more in love now than they've ever been their whole life, and they're just so happy, and that's what I want. And I want to eventually find a man that feels the same way. Divorce not being an option, you know, working through everything together, and even if it is the hardest thing you've ever been through, you stick it out.
I read this thing that you had said that you always felt lonely.
Yes.
And it was great to hear someone else articulate that.
Well, I have begun to cherish my loneliness, and I have sort of since I was around 20 years old, and I'm 25 now, so 5 years of cherished loneliness. And I was very depressed when I was 19 because I decided to pursue music, and I dropped out of school, and I told my parents I didn't want any money from them, and I got 3 jobs, and I just hit the ground running, did it on my own. And I would go back to my apartment every day, and I would just sit there, and it was quiet, and it was lonely, and it was still, and there was just my piano and myself. And I had a television, and I would leave it on like all the time just to feel like somebody was hanging out with me. And especially during the period when I was doing cocaine, I mean, it was like the drug was my friend.
Yeah, it's your lover that never leaves you.
And I never did it with other people. And it's such a terrible way to fill that void, because it just adds to the void, really, because it's not real.
And you have to keep filling it because it's endless.
It's endless, and at a certain point, I just began to feel sick.
Didn't you find that you just didn't even get high? Like, at the end, for me,
Yeah.
I would just do coke, and it wouldn't even get me high. I was like, wow, it doesn't do anything for me anymore. Why am I still doing it?
It would make me feel so sick, and I just remember one night being in the shower, and I was like bent over in the shower, and I had the cold water on, and I was coming down, and because I'd just done so much, I didn't even feel good. I just felt like crap. Ugh. And I had a thing of NyQuil, and I had the water going, and I was drinking the NyQuil, and I'm just like, please, Lord Jesus Christ in heaven, let me live through the night.
That's the crazy thing.
And I'll never do it again. And then, you never really do that. But my point is this. I sort of woke up one day and was like, you're an asshole. You're not an artist.
Outgo.
You're not an artist. If you were a real artist, you'd be focused on your music. You wouldn't be spending your money on the white devil.
Yeah, it is the white devil.
It's just the most ridiculous, and there's this perception and romanticism around drugs.
That it's sexy.
That it's sexy, or that it's artistic, or that you're troubled and you're going to make great music, when really you're just a loser.
Yeah, wasting time.
Wasting time. I stopped, and I focused 150% of my energy on my happiness, on what do you want to do? What is it that you really want? How do you explain to your friends and your mother and everyone, I'm a singer?
You have to do it.
I want to be a singer.
You do it.
Well, what do you mean you want to be a singer? Do you sing in the shower? There's no way to convince people of your greatness. You have to know on the inside, whether it's you want to do advertising, or you want to be in finance, or you want to be a waitress or a bartender, whatever it is that you want to be, you have to know it inside and knife fight your way to your dream.
But here's what I want to ask you. When you come from a place, at least for myself, when I was really broken from heartbreak and from loss and from abusing my body with drugs and alcohol, and it was really the bottom for me, and I thought there has to be more to life than this. It took me a long time to work out what happiness meant for me. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't have an identity that was strong. Did you?
I'm still working on it. I know that feeling. That feeling's impossible. Yeah. It's completely impossible. But the only thing I don't have that with is my work.
Because it's sustained by your energy that you put out.
You know, it's not dependent on someone else. But at the same time, it's an amazing feeling when you can love somebody and you can share your life with them. But the reconstruction of your soul as a woman is a lifelong endeavor and journey. It's forever.
It is.
And I'm lucky that I have a wonderful mother. I'm blessed that I have beautiful friends and people around me that love me. And if you're projecting anything menacing or of an agenda or negativity towards others, those are the things that you're going to receive back.
Absolutely.
But if you project love and acceptance and tolerance into the universe, you will receive that.
Very much.
But I really hope that women watching, you know, if you're laying in bed next to someone that really doesn't make you feel like the goddess that you are, you need to rediscover what it is that you truly want and need.
And by the way, there are some, at least for me, there's some days where, you know, like I feel really good about myself, and there are days where I feel like shit about myself. And that's just part of life.
It's not their responsibility, to be quite honest.
No,
and
it's ours.
That's also unfair of women to put that on men. Is, you know, I feel like crap about myself. It's you.
Your fault,
It's not them. It's you.
Yeah.
If you're with someone that makes you feel bad, get out.
Right.
You can't put that kind of pressure on someone to be the sole source of your happiness. That's your job.